So we'll go through that test paper what we had on Saturday. Mostly you should be able to go through all questions one by one. Yeah, look at this question. See, this question, actually we can think of solving in 2-3 different ways. Can we think of all possible ways of solving this question? One way of thinking would be, okay, I can solve a EMF induced. We have to first of all, terminal velocity. Moment I notice terminal velocity, what does terminal velocity imply? Karthikeya, what does terminal velocity mean? Moment I see a question about terminal velocity, what does terminal velocity mean, Karthikeya?
The velocity it requires when net force is 0.
Net force is 0. So moment I see terminal velocity, it means, okay, immediately I noted net force has to be 0. If net force is 0, what are the forces acting? Then I need to identify net force 0. How many forces are acting? 2 forces are acting here. Which are the 2 forces acting? There is a magnetic force acting and there's a gravitational force. The FB has to be equal to mg. Now, what is FB equal to? FB is equal to ILB. And what is current equal to? So basically, why would the current flow in the circuit? Current will flow because of EMF. EMF equivalent, so this is equal to EMF divided by R into L into B is equal to mg. How do I create EMF? There are, I can think maybe 3 different ways I can think of EMF. Let's see each one of them. One way we can write EMF in terms of rate of change of, I can change the rate at which area is changing. I can calculate flux in the total area. And in this case, the area is changing. So I can write area in terms of Y. And terminal velocity dy by dt will be equal to velocity. That's one way. I can calculate EMF in terms of flux changing in this area. What are the other ways I can solve? I can also think of, so one way of calculating EMF is using area method, rate of change of flux. Other way I can calculate motion of a conductor in a magnetic field. So this conductor is outside, this part is outside, I'll ignore these two. I can think of what part of a conductor is moving in a magnetic field. This is a part of conductor which is moving in a magnetic field. And one kind of magnetic field it is uniform magnetic field. So second way of calculating would be, okay, this is a conductor which is moving in magnetic field. I can calculate, so this is uniform magnetic field. So what I can do, so in this case, I can replace this conductor with an equivalent conductor connecting initial point to the final point. So this is equivalent to conductor of length A, and EMF will be equal to B into length will be A into B. So EMF I can write as BAB. What is the third way I can think of? Third way I can think of, rather than taking a conductor of this shape, I can take this as one conductor, this is second conductor, and this is third conductor. So these two conductors also, the length, and this is moving in this direction, this also moving in this direction, and this is moving in this direction. So in this case, I notice since velocity and length are in the same direction, no EMF here. No EMF here. EMF is being induced only along this part of the conductor. So any which way you solve, we can easily get an answer. EMF, and we substitute, we get an answer. So, but I thought all of you should know, first off, immediately this part should be clear. What does terminal velocity mean? And second thing, what you should know all 3 ways we can think of finding EMF. Second question. Okay, the square is placed in a uniform magnetic field whose induction varies. So it's a time varying magnetic field. So what we need to, this is a fairly simple question. What I need to do, I need to find current in the loop. So every time I'll focus on what is given in the loop, and resistance is given as R, 2R, this R, 2R, 3R, and 4R. So this is fairly easy question. And this is how the loop is. So the current will be equal to induced EMF by effective resistance. And what is the EMF here? Area is not changing. This EMF is because of change in magnetic field. So it will be equal to area, EMF will be thus change in flux. The angle is 90 degree. If field is perpendicular to the area, and effective resistance easy, but that is a fairly 10R. So this was also an easy question, and I hope all of you are easy in your mind. It is clear how to easily solve this question. This question, I think this is we had done once in the class. It has also come in some of the previous examination. So if I ask Gayatri what it is based on this question, immediately moment you see this question, what comes to your mind, Gayatri? what comes to mind in this particular question? See, other thing, I think this is something I'll repeat it. See, there's certain minimum.
This is the limiting.
No. See, basically, see what I find little disturbing. See, we can't see you in the class, but if I ask somebody's, if I call out someone's name, I expect that student to respond immediately. Even if you don't know the answer, say no, sir. And this is minimum what you expect. And this is something fair thing to ask. So anybody who is having problem in responding, please let me know in advance. But if I ask any student by name, you should get a response within, I can expect it may take 5 seconds, 10 seconds maximum to put the audio on. But within 10 seconds, I should get a response from the student. From next time onward, I don't want to do it, but this is something I will do it because of to enforce the discipline. Discipline is important in the class, even in online classes. So if I call someone's name, I should get a response within a reasonable time. If you don't get a response, Gautami, I think we should debar that student from the class until I talk to the parent, I talk to the student again. So please respond immediately. And see, some of you, I don't know, there has to be mutual respect from both sides. I don't know some of you noticed or not, many times I log in 10 minutes before, but has it ever happened that somebody comes and somebody says, good morning, I should be there in front of the laptop to respond. If you don't respond, this is something, it's a lack of respect for mutual respect. A similar thing when the class is on, I expect response from all the students. And anybody who is not, some of you say, for some of you may have a genuine reason why you're not able to respond. Maybe your parents are working nearby and you can't speak or something. So please let me know, all those who are not able to respond in the class for some genuine reason, please send me your WhatsApp message, please let me know. But if I ask anyone's name, I should get a response right away. Is that clear to everyone? And anybody who has a difficulty, please let me know in next one day. And if I have those names, so some of you may have a genuine reason, and if they don't respond, I'm okay. I will not ask those people. But there's something, if any student's name is called out, within 10-15 seconds, I should get, if nothing says, say, no, sir, I have not understood. That is okay. But I should get a response. So this question also is fairly simple question. In this case, okay. Magnetic force in limiting state has to be equal to maximum friction force.
Yes.
Which is equal to mu times. Can there be any other variation of the question? And sometimes the coefficient friction, they can write mu s and mu k. So if mu s and mu k both are given, which mu should we use here? We should use mu s. And when we start moving from this position, we should use mu s kind of thing. Okay, let's come to this question. Some of you might have, this is question more than magnetism. This question involves concept of rotation motion. So let's do a little bit, let's properly go through this question. This question, I hope all of you understand here. This is the point, this axis about which rod can rotate. So axis of rotation is about this end here. This is where this pivoted about. So axis of rotation, if I look at from here, is perpendicular to plane of the figure. And this is how the rod is. And if current is flowing here, and there's a magnetic field, this is the direction of current. Which direction will the force act here? See, what is this based on? We have to calculate let free to, then what is the angular acceleration? So every time, let's start from the what we need to find. I need to find alpha. Alpha of the rod. What is alpha equal to? So immediately should come to mind, angular acceleration is torque by moment of inertia. Torque and moment of inertia about which point? See, both the things are related to about particular axis. About which? About axis of rotation. This is the case of pure rotation and this is the axis of rotation. So torque also has to be calculated about axis of rotation and moment of inertia also has to be calculated about axis of rotation. So this is what I need to calculate. Force is acting, there's no gravity, and this torque is created only by magnetic force. And so let's understand which direction the magnetic force will act. As soon as I see the figure, magnetic force is perpendicular to the plane of figure. It means magnetic force will lie in the plane of figure. And I can use right hand thumb rule or I can use IJ also. I can use those who are not comfortable. You can also use IJ. Which direction the force will act is easy to figure out. Magnetic force will act in the upward direction. This is magnetic force will act. Now, but I have to calculate not the force, I have to calculate torque. And torque also, this is suppose the force is acting. What is torque equal to? Force multiplied by is perpendicular distance from axis of rotation. The force will act. How the force will act? If I think of rod is composed of several small elements. All small elements force will act. So how should I take the torque? Some of you may easily take the torque into L by 2, but let's understand also how do we calculate. So whenever torque we know it depends on the magnitude of force and distance. If I want to do in a proper way, if I'm not very sure, what I will do, I'll take a small element. Why I'm taking a small element? Because distance is changing. So from here, if I take a small element at a distance x and length of the element is dx. What is the force which will act on this small element? The force, all three are mutually perpendicular. Force acting on the small element will be ILB. All three are mutually perpendicular. So current is I, length is dx, and magnetic field is B. That's a force acting. And this is how the force is acting. But what torque this will create? This force will create a torque. Torque is equal to perpendicular distance into the force. What is the perpendicular distance? X is the perpendicular distance. So torque becomes equal to XIB into dx. That is torque due to force acting on a small element. And you notice all are acting in the same direction. All torques, though it is a vector quantity, it will keep adding. So scalar addition itself is equal to vector addition. So what is tau equal to? I can add using integration. It is a summation of d tau. What is the limit? If I take all elements ranging from 0 to L, so limit will be so that all elements are covered 0 to L. Okay, 0 to L, so torque will come equal to, so integrate, we get XB into L square by 2. And some of you can think, what is this? This is ILB into L by 2. So you can think of, okay, the total force is ILB, and which point it is acting? It is acting at L by 2. But it may not always be at the midpoint. So that's why you can, if you are not sure, you should do step-by-step method. Then I look at what is moment of inertia. Moment of inertia about the end point. So we know rod is not the midpoint, it is end point. So IA is, we'll use which formula? ML square by 3. Okay. And we can easily find the alpha here. So I hope all of you are clear. Whenever we have any question which involve something like this, these are the steps involved. Step by step, we can get an answer. This is a fairly simple question. In this question, energy stored, so it is about energy stored in magnetic energy. So when we write what is magnetic energy equal to? Magnetic energy is equal to 1 by 2 Li square. And that talks about stores use of magnetic energy and dissipates energy as heat. So this is energy, and other one is power. What is power dissipated? Power dissipated current is given, and power dissipated is I square R. Okay, both values are given. You can take the ratio. We can find the ratio of these two quantities. So this was a fairly direct question. And is this ratio, is it a meaningful ratio? Will the ratio be dimensionless quantity, or will this ratio depends on choice of unit? Do they have same dimension, both of them? One is energy per unit time. So if you take an SI unit, you can get this answer. But this answer ratio will depend on the choice of unit. It's not dimensionless quantity. Both are not the same dimension. Let's look at this question here, a time varying magnetic field. So whenever we have a time varying magnetic field, it is based on, if you can think of, if you have to calculate field at a distance R, we can always think of EMF. This is the equation, E into 2 pi R is equal to EMF, that is equal to d phi by dt. And in this case, it is area into dB by dt. That's the equation we use whether the point is inside or outside. What is the area we take here? Area is area in which magnetic field is present. Area of magnetic field. Area of magnetic field. And whether point is inside or outside, there's no need to remember any formula. So in this particular case, the distance is L. So if we write what is the magnetic field here acting as induced field, it is, sorry, I'm saying magnetic field. Induced field which is acting is E into 2 pi L, and area is pi R square and dB by dt. That's the field. So I get the value of, so is, you don't need to memorize the formula. Very easily we can arrive at the value of field. This is the field which will act. Now the question is, which direction will the field act here? So in this case, if I visualize, if I draw a, yes, every time what we do, we can imagine a loop passing through the point where induced field need to be calculated. This is a dot one, and it is increasing. So induced will be such that current induced will be in the opposite direction. So and opposite direction means what? It has to be induced field will be such that current will be like this. So it means field has to be downwards. This is the direction of field. So force acting on the charged particle, force on the charged particle, what are the forces acting? Q is acting downwards, Q is acting, and mg is acting, and if it is an equilibrium, spring force is acting. Spring force will be equal to kx naught. So we easily equate the forces. Kx naught is equal to mg plus qe, and we substitute the value of E from here, which is r square dB by dt divided by 2L. We get our compression of the spring. Okay, this is actually it was a very simple question, but the way it is worded, so many things are given here which is not relevant here. What is given here? A non-conducting rod of a length, okay, and a cylinder, inertial frame also done. But actually, this entire question, if you read through, it is just finding the force acting on this charged particle. Force acting on this charged particle is QE. Similar way, if you can find the value of E, and that you get a value of force here, which is fairly simple question. Only thing what you have to keep in mind, yes, this answer is in terms of L. So radius is equal to L by 2. Okay, this is direct formula, fairly simple question. Okay. Now coming to this question is uniform magnetic field B not exist in the cylindrical region. And there is a conducting ring. So this is a ring which is placed here. And this ring has a mass m and linear charge density of lambda. So not only mass, it has a linear charge density, and it doesn't matter which sign we take, it has some charge here. Angular velocity gained by the ring if a field is switched off. So there's a field here. If we switch off the field, what does switching off field mean? So what you had focus on, we need to find angular velocity when the field is switched off. What is the effect of switching of the field? Effect of switching for mean magnetic field is changing. So this question relates to two things: change in magnetic field. And second thing, what is given, we need to find the value of angular velocity, omega. So it is based on rotation motion. So these two things we need to apply. Okay. So whenever something like this is angular velocity gain, it is whenever angular velocity changes. So this question is about how do you find a change in angular velocity? Actually, you find change in angular momentum. So this question is a change in angular momentum. This question involves change in angular momentum. And what is change in angular momentum equal to? So linear momentum is equal to force impulse. Change in angular momentum is equal to angular impulse. What is angular impulse is equal to, Akash? Yes.
Sir, why won't the charge just flow in the wire? So why does I didn't understand why the will be talks.
Yes, sir, even I didn't understand.
Because current can just flow inside the wire, right?
Yes,
Or
a very valid point. Okay. Well, why would the current not flow? So why would, see, actually the right wording should have been non-conducting.
Non-conducting, right?
Yes, but when I switch this one, since the question is asking about angular velocity gain, I will solve this one. Otherwise,
yes, sir. I mean, I got that part only.
Yes, all of you can notice that one, but very valid point. What will happen? It was a conducting ring, and the current will start flowing. So the question could have been what would be current flow? But since mass and other things are given, I understand here what I need to calculate is this. Otherwise, a perfectly valid point. If it is conducting, the charge will start moving, and they are free to move, and it will not lead to motion of the ring itself. Now let's solve this question. So what is this question? So what I understand from here, see, this question was change in magnetic field. If magnetic field changes, there will be induced field, and because the induced field will exert a force on the charge which is placed on the ring. So with this, and moment force starts acting, this force will create a torque and will create an angular impulse. So this is what the question is. Let me do one by one. Okay, so can we calculate the value of field here? Field is easy to calculate. What is the field comes to in this particular case? Field we can easily calculate based on what? Calculation of field is based on E into always 2 pi A is equal to area into dB by dt. But in this case, it's not instantaneous value. It is something like this. You can write, since a time interval is involved, I can also write this area into delta B into delta T. That's the field. So what is delta B here? How much is delta B given? Delta B is equal to change in magnetic field equal. You're just calculating magnitude B. This is equal to B naught. So this is field. So I can calculate field here. And so once we know the value of field here, how should we proceed further? How many have solved it correctly? Akash, have you solved it properly?
No, sir, I made a mistake.
But do you understand the concept involved here properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you explain?
Yes, sir. First, sorry, the field is changing, right?
Yeah, for magnetic field is changing. So this part
that will cause EMF, induced EMF.
It will call induced EMF. So should we calculate induced EMF here, or should we calculate induced
force?
That's one question. So moment I notice field is changing, I'm just going through what the thoughts may come to a different student's mind. So what I notice when field is changing, should I calculate induced EMF or should I calculate induced field? What should I calculate here?
Sorry, induced field, sir. Then we should
calculate induced field. So this part is clear. We should create induced field. So this is induced field. So what is the effect of induced field? The field will get induced. I can calculate induced field. What should I do next? One step is calculation of induced field.
We know that force is charged into.
Yes, we calculate induced field. Let's say field is equal to E. And how would field act? Which direction will the field act? If suddenly we switch off, the field will act in which direction? Here the direction is not important, but anyway, the field acts in this direction.
It will be along the
tangential direction. Now what should we do next now? This is how the field acts. What should be the next step? Nitya, have you done this question properly? Nitya?
No, sir.
No, so can you think next what will happen? What is the effect of what effect will the field produce, Nitya?
Force, sir.
Force? No, so basically what we notice. So first thing, moment this field is induced. Second thing, what will happen? It will exert a force on charge on the ring. So if I take a small element, if I take a small part of the ring here, this has some charge dq. So force will act. It will lead to force. So force on the charge on the ring. So how the force also will act in the tangential fashion. So I can calculate force of the entire ring. It makes what is the net force on the entire ring? Suppose I have to calculate what is the net force on the entire ring. It will be 0. I'm not interested in force. I'm interested in torque. So how should I calculate the total torque in the ring? I have to add up the torque due to all forces acting. So what I do conceptually in this case, since there are so many different elements involved, so if I have to do step by step, I'll take a small element of the ring. A small element which is making an angle theta here. So what is the force on which will act on this small particle? So what will the force on the charge? So I take a small element here. See, all of you understand why you have to take a small element. And anything which is circular in shape, we take the length as a theta. Okay. So on a small element, can we calculate force on the small element? Force on the small element will be equal to dq into E. I'll substitute value of E later. Okay. What is the charge on the small element? Length is r d theta.
Lambda.
So lambda into r d theta. So and this becomes my into E. This is df. But what is no? Since this question beginning itself, we should understand this question involves torque into time. So what I need to calculate now torque. What will the torque due to this force acting here? So this force is acting here. The force is acting tangentially, radius is r. So torque is force into perpendicular distance. I have written d tau. Torque on this small element, torque due to force acting on this small element will be equal to r into df. Thus torque. So what is this is torque? So the torque is equal to what? So I can let me put this r into df. So you will substitute lambda r square e into d theta. Okay, so what is the total torque now? Total torque is add it up. If I add it up, what is the integration of this term here? Only then adding up d theta. D theta will come equal to 2 pi. So this will come equal to lambda r square E into 2 pi. But what are we, now we can substitute value of E. But we are interested in angular impulse. What is angular impulse? Once I know tau. What is angular impulse?
Into time.
Into
Delta
time.
time.
So when I
Theta.
substitute here, so this something, if I substitute value of this, I take this delta t to this side. Okay, so I will calculate, so let me put those values here. So this becomes equal to lambda r square into 2 pi. Let me put this value of E here. E is equal to area pi r square. So r square by 2a. This is area r square into 2a, and here I write delta b into db into dt. So this dt, when I take to this side, this becomes angular impulse. So what is my angular impulse? Angular impulse is this. This is angular impulse. So angular impulse will be equal to integration of this whole term into dB. What is a dB? dB will come equal to B naught. That's how we'll get my angular impulse and equate angular impulse to, once I get this angular impulse, I'll equate to what is angular impulse equal to I into delta omega. And we find the change in angular velocity. So all of you just try and do it once more in the evening session, and it should, from here should be easy.
Sir, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Sir, why would the force be zero? That's
Why would the force be?
zero, sir.
No, you see, basically, force will act in all directions. See, if I take one element here, if I take a diametrically opposite pair, because there's some symmetry existing here. So if the force is acting towards right, on this here, the force will act in the opposite direction. If I divide the whole ring into several such diametrically opposite equal pairs, all forces will cancel out in pairs.
Got it, sir.
So since what will happen to the, will this ring will have any, will its center of mass shift? No, the center of mass will not shift. Only thing, it will start rotating its position. And I hope some of you also noticed a very good point mentioned. If it is a conducting ring, the force will act on the charged particle because the force, okay. In that case, it becomes a little more complicated. And the force acting on the, if there's a conducting ring, ideally should have been mentioned in non-conducting. Yes, Astra, you have any question?
Well, like, because it's non-conducting, the field will create torque, right? Sir?
Yes.
Otherwise, there would have been current. Right?
See, otherwise also what will happen? Tell me what would happen otherwise.
There could have been a current induced.
Yes, there will be current induced also. In this case, basically it will start rotating. When you start rotating also, will it not be like a current element even then? Yeah, see, let's do this part. I think further extension of this question, again, some of you can think of, and we'll discuss in the evening session, what happens if it is conducting, what will happen, current will start flowing, and what would be magnetic dipole moment, would the magnetic dipole develop? So we can think of all possible subsequent variations. But basic part, first of all, you understood?
Yes.
Okay, so then we can think of some more variations of the same. Okay, next question was something like this. Okay, this question was placed in a room perpendicular. This is what is given, and is being pulled out the magnetic field with a constant velocity 2 meters per second. And this is okay. This is what is given in this question, and this is something similar to what he had done. So when it is being pulled out, we can think of again, as I mentioned here, which part of this. See, this one SR piece. There are 4 different rods. Which part of the 4, or out of 4 rods, which rod will have EMF? Only one rod will have EMF. This part will not have. This part also will not have. This part will not have. This part will not have. EMF only will be SP part. Are we clear? EMF is only, so when we see how do we solve such question? In such cases, we treat EMF developed as a battery, and we show as a battery in a circuit, and then we apply Kirchhoff loop rule. So my method of solving this is SP given. How I'm going to solve it? My method of solving based on what he had done last time also. We will place an equivalent battery which bar in the part of circuit where EMF is developed. So only in the appropriate arm. So basically on the appropriate side only. So which side will have battery? Only SP side. Okay. And what will be the direction of current here if it is being pulled out? If being pulled out, can we find, will the direction be clockwise current or will be anti-clockwise? Shreya, can you tell me what is the direction of current as it being pulled out?
Yes, sir.
Clockwise, what is happening as we pull out? What is happening to flux? Increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Flux is increasing as you pull out this loop from here. Flux, what will happen to flux? Flux will decrease. Why flux is decreasing? Area is decreasing. If flux will decreasing, so as per the Lenz's law, as flux is decreasing, what will the direction of induced field? The current will be such it will induce field in the
Clockwise.
clockwise direction. So this current will be in the clockwise sense. If current in the clockwise sense, the battery also will be of this nature. And battery will come only in SP part. Can we calculate EMF of the battery? EMF of the battery is simple. EMF of the battery will be equal to BLV. Okay, so that we can easily write. So what is the value of BLV here? How much the EMF comes to? The EMF comes equal to 0.1 volts. So this is the battery placed here, 0.1 volts. And what are the resistances here? Let's mark the resistances also. What are the resistances here? Resistance is equal to, yeah, this is 10. So this will be 0.1 ohms. This also 0.1 ohm. And this will be 0.5 ohms. And this is 0.5 ohms. Now I have the circuit here. Now calculation of potential difference between any 2 points is simple. Any 2 point potential difference is required. I can solve using application of similar to Kirchhoff loop rule traversing. So if I have to find potential difference between which 2 points we need to find here, okay, we need to find P to S. So we'll move from P, starting point P, we'll go up to S. We'll start from P, we write VP, plus from here as you go, increase in potential, 0.1, and this is the direction of current. Since I'm moving along the direction of current, I didn't write the current value. What is the current value? Current value is EMF by, I is equal to EMF by R, which comes equal to 1 by 12.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so minus 0.1 into 1 by 12 is equal to Vs. So this is the equation, and based on that we can find Vp minus Vs, which comes equal to whatever, 1 by 12 minus, okay, 1 by 12, whatever. So it comes equal to minus 11 by 120, which is the answer. I think answer given was incorrect.
Yes.
So is anybody has doubt? Because this is something similar to what we have done. And if you follow step-by-step method, only important point is the battery should be placed in the appropriate side. EMF is, if you place the battery here, we'll get a different answer. But why should we place the battery here? Which part the battery should be placed? It should be placed only in the part of the conductor where EMF is getting developed. So I can think of this as 4 conductor. This part, no EMF will develop because there's no magnetic field here. This part, yes, it will develop, velocity is perpendicular. These 2 parts, no EMF will develop because velocity is along the length. So if we understand, place the battery properly, apply the Kirchhoff law properly, we'll get our answer. Okay. This is a fairly simple question. Flux is equal to B into A, directly formula. Okay, this question also. And this also, some of you might have had problem. Find the magnitude of rate of change of current. So let me understand in this circuit, rate of change of current is equal to di by dt. So let me see how we're going to solve this question. Let me call this point as A and this point is B. So potential at 2 points, what I look at this question, I find the potential of 2 points A and B are given. So if potential at 2 points A and B are given, I can form an equation. I can write an equation which involves V and VB by adding and subtracting potential as we traverse from A to B. So I can traverse from A to B and form an equation. So we can form an equation, form a equation on form an equation of potential based on traversing from A to B. So as we walk along from A to B and increase or decrease, we keep writing, we get an equation traverse from A to B. But see here, batteries, I think I know, IR also I know. Only problem is with the inductor. What should I do about the inductor? So we know what is the property of inductor. Inductor also is always, whenever inductor is there in the circuit, we can replace with the battery. It develops an EMF. What is the EMF? The battery, this also equivalent to battery of EMF equal to L di by dt, and direction is opposite. So if I assume the current is increasing, it will be opposite to direction of current. So I can show this battery like this. And what will this battery be equal to? This will be equal to 10 into di by dt. Now let me write an equation. So only thing new what we have done here is we have replaced the inductor with a battery. Now we can write an equation. What is the equation will be? So you start from A. I start walking from here plus positive to negative, hence with minus sign. And then since I'm moving along the current, again negative sign, minus 2 into 1. From here I'm going positive to negative, hence minus 10 into di by dt. I'm assuming increasing. So if answer come negative, it means current is decreasing. And then minus 3. I reach point B, which is equal to 20. So that's the equation we can form and you can easily solve. Okay. Question number 38. This is something as is some of you. This is an iron rod. This is not a magnet. Okay. Iron rod falls freely through a long coil. And this question requires a bit of understanding of magnetic property of iron. Which is a small topic, is a currently about 2 days topic, which we have not done. So I think without understanding of magnetic properties of iron rod, it's difficult to solve. So what I will do, it will take a little longer to explain. So for now, I'll skip this question and okay, maybe I'll do that one. See, let's see that one. Even if let's see what is the magnetic property of iron. So suppose this current, depending on this current is flowing in the coil. Okay, had a iron rod not been falling, the current would have been constant. So current is flowing in the coil, and since the current is flowing in the coil, it will develop depending on how the coil is wound. It will have a magnetic field along the axis of the coil, either upwards or downwards. It doesn't matter. We can take one direction. So current is flowing. If we look from here, the current is like this, and magnetic field is upwards. This is how the magnetic field is. Now, if we place an iron rod in magnetic field, iron rod also start to behave like a magnet. Iron rod also becomes like a magnet. It acquires a magnetic property, and when it acquires a magnetic property, this also will develop magnetic field, a magnetic dipole moment in the same direction as the magnetic field. So this also will behave like a. So iron rod also we can think of iron rod as a coil. It will also have magnetic field in the same direction. So iron rod is equivalent to a magnet which is having north pole in which direction? North pole in the upward direction. That's how it will behave. So this is the property we need to know. So iron rod also becomes magnetized, it becomes like a magnet. Now it is falling. So this is something, now it becomes an old question. Now it is something, it is a falling. Now what will happen when it will fall? So when and if it is like this, I can also think of in terms of. So now if iron. So what will happen if orientation of field are same? Just a second. Okay. So if we can think of iron rod also as a solenoid or a coil, if will the direction of current, if I can imagine this also, so it becomes like a iron bar, or sorry, it becomes like a magnetic bar. So magnetic bar also is equivalent to a solenoid, equivalent to current carrying coil. Will the direction of current here in the coil and direction of current in the iron bar, will it be same or different?
Different.
Same direction, because as I mentioned, the B is same. So what will happen whenever whenever iron rod is there, it can be treated as a coil which is having current in the same direction as this coil. Okay, so it is something like this. So it is equivalent to, so this question becomes equivalent to what? This question becomes equivalent to something like this. So if I have a coil which is having current in a particular direction, this coil is A. There's another coil which also has a current in the same direction. This is I1 and this is I2. Okay, and if since the iron rod is moved closer, if it is moved towards this, if this coil B is moved towards A, will the current I1 rise or fall? That's the question. So this whole question becomes equivalent to this. Have some of you followed what I've done? Disha?
Sir,
Yes?
sir, the field is supposed to be downwards, right, sir?
Then you see, again, field, okay, let's again go back. Do we know the direction of field here? Can you tell me that, is it possible to know from the information given, can we definitely say whether field is upwards or downwards? Because you're looking at battery. Battery is only providing current. In this case, can we say for sure? Anybody would like to answer? Can we definitely say which direction the field will be, upwards or downwards?
So, but direction wouldn't matter, right?
Yes, that's what I was coming to. So
Oh,
direction, can we guess the direction? We can't. So suppose there's a bar, but which way see, if there are two possible ways it can be wound. So depending on which way it is wound, are you following the Vignesh? Which way it can be wound?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Understood. So basically, current flows, the direction of field could be anything, but answer will remain same. I have taken field direction is upwards. If field direction is upwards, the iron rod also will have field induced field in the upward direction. So this also, since the directions are same, the two will behave like coils having current in the same sense. So whole problem is equivalent to this. When iron rod start falling, it is equivalent to coil coming nearer, and after it passes through, it is going away. So if it is moving nearer, what will happen to the current I1? Will the current increase or decrease? That's what it says. Will it increase or will it decrease when they're moving towards each other?
Decrease.
Decrease. So that's what the question. So it will decrease, and when it's moving away, it will increase. So it appears like a very simple question, but it's not a simple question. And those who are not understood, again, go through. And if not, I will just explain little more evening session. If you get time, you can spend little more time on this also to understand why the current will decrease. So some of it, this is application of Lenz's law. So as it moves, flux will increase. So why the current will decrease? Who said current will decrease? So Abhirup, you said current will decrease.
I didn't say that.
Who said the current will decrease? Abhirup, can you tell me what will why will the current increase or decrease, and how? Why?
Sir, if coil B is moving closer, the flux in coil A will increase. So the coil A will the current in coil A will decrease because the flux has to decrease. It will oppose the change, right? Because flux is increasing.
So it has to oppose. So the flux has to decrease. So basically, coil is. So this is something current. You can think of that way. You can. There are 2-3 different ways you can think of the logical explanation.
So like I thought that when a solenoid has a core, the magnetic field is stronger. So when a solenoid is inside the core,
first of all, it is not core kind of thing. It is first outside. First, see, actually, to understand this question fully, I think it may take about 10 minutes explanation. It's a lengthy explanation. What will happen here when it is inside the core also, that we'll discuss. So basically what is happening, see what will happen, suppose that when the iron rod is here, it is moving within the core. As it moves from here to here, is it making any difference? See, that's why there's a flat portion in between.
there's no change in field.
There's no change. No, so there's something equal from either side. So there are 3 things here. It is first, it is entering, then it is flowing through the central region, and then it is exiting. Okay, so there is it appears very simple question, and to answer this question also intuitively, perhaps answer easy, but to understand exactly what is happening step by step, that requires a little more thinking. And I would encourage, I will suggest all of you think what would happen. Okay, why it will happen. So first of all, it dropped and then again comes back to the same level. Why it is coming back to the same level and what is happening when it is exiting? In terms of understanding, so initially I can think of, see, I hope some of you followed, it can be taken as equivalent to two coils having current in the same direction and one coil is approaching other. What will happen? So okay, so perhaps there's one or two more ways also we can discuss. What are the one or two? Some of you, all of you think, and even some of you should tell me what are the other one or two ways we can find the direction. So we can find whether current will increase or decrease. Okay, this is a simple one. Self-induction. This question also. Yeah, there's something, many places you'll find the self-induction with straight conductor is given as 0. And sometimes some of the explanations are really funny. I'm not sure why this question should not come in the examination, because actually the self-induction with straight conductor is not easy to define. That's why we don't go for derivation. And most cases, some of the better references they talk about is very small. I know answer is given as 0. So I'll leave this question here. I think this question is maybe I'll talk to some other people also why they come as 0. In my mind, I'm not clear why it should come to 0. So I don't know this answer. I'm very sure it should not be 0. But let me check. So this question, for now, I'm not explaining. But in exam, it comes. For now, you can take it as right as 0. Why? Not clear. Okay. This is, I think, simple question. Okay. Inserted in the coil. Okay. So what you're saying here, so it is something like this. If we visualize the circuit is like this. And some of you are asking, let's see how we think, what do you think. This circuit is like this. There's a bulb. Bulb is nothing but a resistance. And there's a inductor. Okay. So this bulb of resistance R. What will happen if we insert an iron core inside this? Can anyone think of what will happen if I insert this? Earlier the inductance was L. Can you think of a reason what will happen when insert an iron core? We have briefly discussed sometime. What happens when you insert an iron core? Did we discuss use of iron core briefly somewhere?
Moving coil galvanometer.
Moving coil galvanometer. What does iron core do?
It strengthens the magnetic field.
Increases the magnetic field. If increases magnetic field, actually the flux also increases. If the flux increases, L value also increases. So when I insert an iron core, effectively what happens? L goes up. But it's talking about when the iron core is inserted, light emerging from the bulb after a long time. So if just imagine it is something like this. If you have to go step by step and solve very, very properly. Earlier it was like this, bulb was connected to inductor and current I was flowing. This also after a long time, this current will be E by R. Moment I insert an iron core, which term will change here? If I insert iron core, which term will change here? This L will become many times more and becomes L increases. But even L increases, what will happen? It will lead to some change in the current. Okay, but when L increases also, will after a long time, it's not talking about immediately what happens. What will happen to the brightness? What will happen to current after a long time? Will the current depend on this value? It doesn't depend. It does not depend on the value of. So when the question is about inserted emerging after a long time, inductor has no effect. Yes, Abru.
Sir, for us only half of the question was given, sir.
Okay, this was not clear, eh?
No, sir. They gave only when a soft iron core is inserted directly. They didn't mention anything about bulb connecting in series and all.
Okay. So I hope it is clear what happens. So this property of iron core, little more you will study as a part of magnetic properties of matter. But what we know now is when we insert an iron core, magnetic field increases. If magnetic field increases, because of flux density, flux increases and inductance will increase. That's the only thing. But change in inductance does not affect long-term current. So current will remain same, as the brightness also remain same. Okay, ratio of current. This is yes, Ashray.
But in the previous question, I didn't understand why the inductance will increase.
Inductance will increase. Okay. See, You recall in case of electricity also, we can define field as flux density. Field is equal to flux density or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what we say here, but what does iron core do? Iron increases magnetic field inside the solenoid. If magnetic field increases means what? Flux density increases, the flux also will increase. And what is L value is flux per unit current. For same current now, the magnetic field is more, flux is more. So what is L equal to? Phi by I. So if the flux increases, L also will increase. No?
So how can we say the current won't change, sir?
No, see, in any current after a long time, if any circuit which has a battery, which has resistance, which has inductor, steady current, does it depend on the inductor? Steady state current, does it depend on the inductor? What is the effect of inductor in a circuit? Does it have no effect at all, or it has some effect? Steady current does not change, but what will happen? It will take more time to reach that steady
state. Takes time for the current to reach maximum.
That's all. Only effect of inductor. It will, the brightness of bulb, it will achieve its full brightness over a longer period of time. It will gradually increase its brightness to its full brightness.
Yes.
If inductor is very small, its brightness will increase very quickly. That's the difference. This is fairly simple one. L1 I1 is equal to L2 I2. Ratio of emissive power. I think this also, actually emissive power, when we talk about emissive power, only depends on, we take only radiation, not the net radiation. Option given are based on net radiation. So emissive power is taken as proportional to T4 minus TO4, but it should be proportional to only T4. So this question, okay, since that option was not there, you can solve that one, but emissive power is only related to radiation. It's not based on net radiation. This is fairly simple, based on BT is equal to constant. Okay. Yes, it's also okay, can we give a logical explanation what will happen here? So this is something, there's a coil which has 600 turns. See, in case of solenoid, we find L value is proportional to N square. Okay, square the number of turns. But is it also true for circular coils? Can we think of logical reason why it will be proportional to N square in case of circular coil? Okay, so basically when we calculate what is L depends on phi for same value of current. So if there's a field due to one loop, if number of loops become n times, field also will increase by n times or not. So field also, so whatever any point inside any shape of loop, field is proportional to, if number of loops increase by factor of n, field also increase by factor of n. So basically what we are saying, the field is proportional to number of loops n. And then when we calculate flux for given area, flux also, what we are doing for each loop we calculate flux. So flux also is proportional to n for same value of this. Sorry. Okay. So when we calculate total flux, the flux will equal to B into area. And here number of loops also, we take n into B into area. Since B is proportional to n, the flux becomes proportional to square of n. Sorry. So because what we multiply, if it's area remaining same, if number of turns are n times, that becomes my flux. So n is because number of turns have become more, and B also become n times more. So flux is proportional to n square. Hence self-induction also is proportional to n square. So it is based on that. So L2 by L1 will be equal to N2 square by N1 square. This is fairly direct question. Okay. This is okay. Versus stop after 5 seconds. Energy stored in the coil. What do we need to calculate energy stored in the coil? I need value of current. How do I find out current here? So what is given here? It is connected to inductor is with negligible resistance is connected to source of supply whose voltage is given by this. See, how do we write Kirchhoff loop rule when both are there? when inductor as well as resistance both are there. We write like this. What is saying that if resistance is negligible, this term is negligible. So V is equal to whatever applied voltage. This entire voltage will be equal to EMF developed in the inductor. So that's the equation. So V equal to 4T is equal to L di by dt. And what I need to find here to calculate energy stored, I need to find the value of I, which is fairly simple. So 4T into dt is equal to L di. And we integrate with appropriate terms here. This is from 0 to 4 seconds. So this time is 0 to 4. And corresponding value of current, 0 to I. Okay, so I can find the value of current and hence I can find the energy stored. This is fairly simple question. VMI maybe we take this perpendicular component, BLV, and this also radiate energy. So this also power radiated is proportional to T4. Only thing it has been Kelvin. So this also is fairly simple question. Okay, so that's all I think finish. Okay, so anybody has any other query on the paper? So we finish all the questions. Anybody has any other query, any other observation on the paper? Okay, so if not, then I think we'll end the session here. Anybody want to discuss any variations and all, we can that we can do in the evening session. What other variation of similar questions we can have, can do so. And all of you you're supposed to finish your error analysis as well. Are you? Most of you have done that?
Yes, sir.
When are you supposed to send? It was you're supposed to send yesterday, or you're supposed to finish it today?
It is supposed to be today because we'll have doubts, right?
Okay, so we are supposed to finish by today. So today the evening session, I think this is something whatever doubt we can finish it and we can do accordingly. Okay, thank you everyone. So we'll end the session here.
Thank
so
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks everyone.
Bye, sir.
Bye.